It is a beauteous evening, calm and free. The holy time is quiet as a nun. Breathless with adoration, the broad sun is sinking down in its tranquility. The gentleness of heaven broods o'er the sea. Listen, the mighty being is awake, and doth with his eternal motion make a sound like thunder everlastingly. Dear child, dear girl, that walkest with me here, if thou appear and touched my solemn thought, thy nature is not less divine. Thou liest in Abraham's bosom all the year, and worships at the temple's inner shrine, God being with thee when we know it not. This poem was written by William Wordsworth after he went to a walk on the Calais beaches with his daughter. Now, whilst this is not Calais, we are at the equally beautiful South End Beach, and today we will be discussing about the godlike processes that happen on the beach. We'll be discussing about rocks. Hello, welcome back to Katrapin Nirka. There are four major coastal processes. The first one is weathering, which is the wearing away and breaking down of rock. The next one is erosion, the wearing away and breaking down of rock. Well, you see, the difference is that weathering happens when the rock stays in one place, and erosion is when the rock moves. So weathering is the breaking down or wearing away of rock in one place, and erosion is the breaking down or wearing away of rock and then it travelling along the water. There are multiple different interesting types of erosion that we can look at. First is hydraulic action, but for this we're going to need a cliff. Hydraulic action is when water hits a cliff and causes air to be squeezed into the miniature cracks in the cliff. This leads to the cliff collapsing and eroding. Next up, we have corrosion. Corrosion is when the rocks are carried in a wave and it hits onto the cliff or shore, causing the rocks to break down. After this, we have attrition. Attrition is when two rocks collide, breaking into miniature pieces. Next, we have solution. Solution is when the rock dissolves in water. Finally, we have abrasion. Abrasion is when the rock brushes against the seashore, sanding it down like sandpaper. Now, to further emphasize this, we're now going to look at some coastal kung fu. Now, first off, we have corrosion. This is corrosion. The waves are smashing the rocks. Repeat after me, corrosion. Next up, we have hydraulic action. The water is hitting the cliff. Hydraulic action. Now we have attrition. Two rocks are colliding to each other. Attrition. Next we have solution. The water is dissolving the rocks using gas. Solution. And finally we have abrasion. The rocks are rubbing against the shore, sanding it down like sandpaper. Abrasion. Next up is transportation. This is when the rocks move down the water, across the river. Eventually, when they reach the estuary, which is down here, where they get deposited. This is, by the way, South End. And in case you don't know, South End is home to the Thames Estuary, where the river comes meets the sea and joins the Thames. This is where rocks come all the way down from London, Oxford, Windsor and Hendon, where the River Thames sources, and they get deposited down here. As they're breaking down into these little Thameses. Up west, Kendal, they be big rocks. Which brings me to how these rocks transform from big rock to little rock. It means we're going to look at some more coastal kung fu. With transportation, it works with the tier system, with the weak links at the bottom and the strong ones at the top. First off, we have the smallest particles ever, molecules. Yeah, right. So, the smallest stuff that goes down in water. And these do our old friend solution. They dissolve in water. Now, jumping a step up, we get suspension. Suspension is for sand particles. These sand particles suspend on top of the water. Suspension. Next, we get to the real deal. Pebbles. These pebbles do my favourite word in geography. Saltation. They bounce up and down, up and down, and up and down of the seabed. Lastly, we have the big boys, boulders. These can be the size of a double-decker bus, and they do traction, meaning they roll around. Solution, suspension, saltation, and traction. So, there we have it. Coastal processes. The journey of what you may have thought to be the ordinary boring rock is actually quite interesting and complex, and it resembles what we all do in our daily lives. You've looked at weathering, erosion, transportation, and deposition. I really hope you learned something today, and I wish you continue on our journey here in Mandeville. Thank you for watching.